Hey friend, we're making some of our family favorites in the house tonight, so I cannot wait to share it with you. So, if you want to see how to make this delicious crispy fried fish, mac and cheese Sunday dinner, you know what to do. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this one. First things first, let's jump into making this cheese sauce for our mac and cheese tonight. And just so we're clear, I have several different versions of my mac and cheese that I like to share with everybody. But for the most part, this is always going to be my base. I may switch out seasonings or toppings or even cheeses, but my base is always going to stay the same. Okay, so we're going to toss in 2 sticks of butter. You can use salted or unsalted, just to your taste. We're going to stir that butter down until it's completely melted right before we add in just about 1.5 to 2 ounces of cream cheese. This is what's going to help create that velvety texture to my cheese sauce. Once my cream cheese is starting to melt and dissolve into the melted butter, I'm going to pour my heavy cream in. I'm eyeballing this, but to be on the safe side, I would not pour anything over 2 cups of heavy cream at first. Once things start to boil down, I'm going to throw in about 4 to 6 ounces of cut up Velveeta blocks. Now, for all of my mac and cheese snobs, I understand, don't shoot, okay? I like to add this to my personal recipe because it helps to build up that creamy, thicker texture that I'm looking for without having to make a roux. But I am a cheese lover just like the rest of them. So I'm gonna throw in a blend of white sharp cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, and mild cheddar cheese. A favorite of mine is pepper jack cheese as well and smoked Gouda, but we ran out and this is what I had on hand for dinner tonight. In my book, there's no such thing as mac and cheese with at least 3 or more cheeses, but do it according to what you like. Go ahead and add in your cheese of choice right now and stir away until it starts melting. As you can see, I did shred my cheese by hand before adding it to the pot, only because it helps it melt much faster than cutting it into cubes, but you can do what works for you. Next, we're going to add our seasonings in. Now, I add my seasonings last only because I would rather get a taste of the cheese blend before I add any extra salt or seasoning, so I don't make it too salty or over season it. Now that our mac and cheese sauce is done and taken care of, let's set that to the side and get ready to batter our fried fish. In a small bowl, let's go ahead and crack 1 egg and add a couple drops of hot sauce to that as well. Feel free to add some seasoning in your mix as well with the egg, and as well as some yellow mustard. This helps as a great combo to penetrate the fish with flavor, and then it also acts as a binder for the flour that we're about to make. We're gonna whisk everything in the bowl together, put that to the side, and get started on our flour mix. In another bowl, let's add some herbs and spices to the bottom of the bowl before we throw in 1 cup of flour as well as 2 cups of cornmeal. Now, you can adjust the amount of flour to cornmeal based on how fluffy you want it, meaning the flour, or how crispy you want it, meaning the cornmeal. Let's take our fish and bathe it in that egg wash mix before we dredge it from top to bottom, back to front in our flour mix. Once all of our fish is covered in that flour mix, let's set it to the side on a cooling rack for about 10 to 15 minutes, just so we can let that egg wash and that flour mix set in for the maximum crispiness. While our fish is setting in the flour, we are going to go layer by layer and add the cheese sauce to our cooked pasta that we've been setting to the side. Now, I cooked my pasta for about 5 to 7 minutes in water and some chicken bouillon seasoning. Do not throw away that water just yet. It's going to come in handy. The reason I don't cook my pasta for that long when I'm boiling it is because once you put your mac and cheese in the oven to bake, it's going to continue the cooking process, and I don't want to serve any soft, mushy, overcooked pasta. So that's just one thing I do to keep it from getting too soft. If you notice that your cheese sauce is too thick or your mac and cheese mix is looking a little dry, go ahead and grab a couple cook spoons of the pasta water that you have on the side and pour it in gradually until you see it kind of get moist or thin out the way you want it to. Feel free to top your macaroni with a little bit more shredded cheese, cover it up with some foil and bake it at 350 for 10 minutes. Take the foil off and bake it for another 15. Next, let's heat our oil up to about 350. Throw in some green onion to get rid of that fried food smell in the kitchen and the rest of the house, and fry it until the internal temperature is about 165, or you see it get nice and crispy and golden brown. Let's check on that macaroni and cheese. Took it out the oven and we are going to let it sit just for a few minutes with the foil on top to keep the heat in. Now, I didn't show this on camera, but what I like to do is melt some butter and combine it with some garlic and herb breadcrumbs, stir it up and put it on top of my cheese just to get a nice flavorful crust on top when it's baking. So this is how it looks so far. It looks nice and creamy, it's moist, it's not dried out, and it's looking pretty good to me. Now that everything's done, I'm ready to plate all of this up. I made some potato salad earlier and it's been sitting in the fridge and it's nice and chilled now. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of that on my plate as well. And here it is, guys. Grab a plate, let's eat. Thanks for letting me share some of my family favorites with you with the fried catfish, baked macaroni and cheese, and potato salad. If you have any questions or any suggestions on anything else you'd like to see me make, please feel free to head to the comment section and let me know. Once again, guys, thank you for clicking play on this video, and I will catch you right here, same place, next time. Peace out.